Time Portal registration and login. Your Time Portal administrator will register you and send you a registration email. You'll receive the email and click on the registration link to set up and confirm your password to log in, which is when you'll be ready to start entering your timesheet. If you're receiving the registration email on your mobile, just check it hasn't arrived in your junk mail folder. Add it into your inbox and click through. There'll be a link, register in blue, that you'll click on to take you to the registration page. On the registration page is where you'll create a password and you'll re-enter that password to confirm before you click on to register. Once registered, you'll be directed to the page to log in. Your username is your email address. Enter your email address and click login. Then enter your password, the password you've just created, and click login. Then, once logged in, you'll be ready to start entering time. So click on to enter time. In the timesheet entry screen, you'll need to enter the date. Usually default to today's date. So if you're entering a timesheet for yesterday or the day before, then you can click onto the date or the calendar icon there and choose the previous day's date. For the project or the job that you're working on, you can either start typing the name into the field when you can select it from the list by touching it on the screen, or you can touch onto the magnifying glass icon, which you look up or search through the list of available jobs. Once you've done that, there's an activity code, a resource code, or referred to as a cost reference. So you might see preliminaries, carpentry for example. What were you actually working on? So that activity code is important. It's usually required. Any other fields that are required, if they're not filled in before you click on the save, it'll give you a warning, a red flag that say you have to enter something in here. So a description is optionally required on top of the job and the activity code. The start time, most days will have a default start date, perhaps at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, for example. If you're working on the same activity, the same project all day, then you can put an end time at the end of the day. If you're creating multiple time entries throughout the day, you'll roll the start and end time for those activities will roll into the next one. So enter the end time and the system will calculate the total hours in between. If you've taken a break, you can tick the lunch box. It will automatically deduct, for example, 30 minutes as a standard break time. If you've taken a longer break, then you can enter, just note, say 60 minutes into the break time field. So the total hours is calculated in hours, the break is deducted in minutes. So 30 is probably the usual default, or 45 or 60 minutes if you've perhaps taken a longer break on that day to go to the dentist. Or once you've entered the timesheet accurately, you can click on to save. Now if allowed, or you may be able to click on to submit from your timesheet entry. So you'll need to submit your timesheet before it can be approved for payment. Okay, so your approval will check that you've entered it all correctly, got the correct job, the correct details in between before it can be approved for payment. So if you can only save, there is back on the home page, or if you haven't submitted it through with the save process, there is a submit function from the home page that you can click into to show you the status of all the entries. We'll have a look at that in a separate video.